In the past, up to about 4 years ago, Zeeland Lumber used to buy all their trusses from outside sources. So there would be independent truss plants from all over Michigan who would come in and bid on Zeeland's jobs and sell them independently. Over the course of time, Zeeland merged with Hamilton Farm Bureau, and that merger included not just the lumberyard in Hamilton, but it also included a small truss plant. That truss plant had just one truss line and one large component saw, but it was a footprint for getting into the truss business. Trusses can do things today that they could never do 20 years ago. 20 years ago, almost every truss was a fairly low pitch, 412, 512, 612, and generally they were flat ceilings. So you look at houses that were built during that time era, and that's what they all looked like. They were all the typical ranch. Today, because of the technology and the ability to engineer trusses where there's a base truss and a cap truss that sets on top, so where you have multiple piece trusses, now we can have trusses that are much steeper pitches and much more dramatic ceiling lines on the inside. So when you hear the words scissor, cathedral, cambered, coffered, stepped, those are all different words for different dramatic ceiling lines on the inside of the ceiling contour of the house. Because of the facility that we now have, we're able to tackle larger projects like multifamily, student housing, and senior housing. And those three particular areas are where we have seen a lot of our growth in the last couple of years. Local control of their entire project within one company. In the past, when Zeeland Lumber was not in the truss business, they had to rely on outside sourcing. And if all of those outside sources became busy or had difficulty acquiring reasonably priced lumber, or if it was, say, a shop that was unionized and there was a labor dispute, Zeeland Lumber was at the mercy of that outside supplier for whatever reason, for whatever circumstance. Now that's all controlled within house because we have our own truss plant. We are sourcing the labor, we are purchasing the lumber, we are hiring the designers, we are controlling the scheduling, and we can work with different builders to make sure that the flexibility out at the job site is what they need and that they're getting the product, the quality of the product, and the timing according to what's happening out at their job site. We are seeing a lot of growth outside of West Michigan, which is our niche area and where we have a great market share and very loyal builders. But at the same time, our reputation has grown. So as our reputation has grown, there have been people who have contacted us outside of West Michigan, in particular the Detroit metro market, Lansing, Northern Michigan, Southern Michigan, Northern Indiana, and now a couple of our largest jobs that we're working on are in the Ohio market. So I think it's a combination of our great sales efforts, and I believe our reputation is expanding to the point where our markets are expanding, and we are going to be and will continue to be a Midwest supplier, not just a Western Michigan supplier.